Hi guys, welcome back to LPB Racing for the historic Open Wheel Championship on Project Cars 2. This is the final round of the season, round 7, race 1 here at Silverstone Classic, and we are in the Lotus 98T, the 1986 car, and it is Bidzster on pole position from Blakeney in 2nd, Neil gets 3rd, Stevie 4th, TY 5th, Stacker in 6th, 7th is Roral, welcome to Roral, who finally gets online with us on Project Cars, Bradders in 8th, and Callum in 9th position. So we get ready for the start of this race then. A few absentees in this one, and off we go. Brilliant start from Bidzster, and Blakeney's getting bogged down and going backwards here as Neil comes alongside him. There's Stevie on the inside into the first corner, and there's contact with someone, I think. Ronald's gone off, and Neil's spun in the middle of the pack, and Stevie has to avoid. Bradders goes through, Neil's at the back. There's Callum recovering as well. So all happening there as Bidzster then streaks in the lead. It is wet here at Silverstone. So another wet race to add to the collection this season. We've got Roral and I think that's Stevie close together. Stevie behind Bradders. As Stevie makes a mistake and goes onto the grass. Too much power. Round he goes onto the grass. And there's Neil Farmack recovering from the first corner. As we go down the back straight then, Bidzster's in the lead. But here we go, looking at Roral with TY behind him. As they come up to Stowe corner. TY trying to go right round the outside of him. And does he do it? I think has he gone wide? Yes, he's gone wide onto the grass. So TY runs wide onto the grass there. Unlucky for him and just trying to get the power down. And the spray from these cars is unbelievable as Bidzster makes a mistake then. Up front, Bidzster makes a mistake. Blakeney comes up to him. Will he try and go right round the outside? He's going to try. He might have the line for the inside. He's on the inside of Bidzster here. Into the chicane. Brake into the corner. And Bidzster's lost the back end. The back end of Bidzster's car's just gone round and he's gone towards the pit lane. He's got to reverse now. Try and find a safe place to rejoin, but he's got all the other cars coming towards him. There's Callum. Stacker. Oh, Stacker spun as well. Bidzster gets going, but Stacker's spun in the middle of the track. Neil comes through and Stevie comes through and then Stacker can rejoin. Oh, Stevie's lost it as well, again in the wet conditions. So all happening there as Blakeney takes the lead of this race then. Blakeney 7 in the lead of this race. Well done to Blakeney so far. Bradders in a fantastic second place. Who thought he'd be second place after the season he's had so far? But there he is in second place. Roral in 3rd as well. So this change of weather is really shaping up the pack as Bidzster's already back in 4th place. TY's behind him. Onto the straight we go with Bidzster and TY following. There's Stevie, he's behind, he's in front of Callum and he's catching up to Neil Farmack. And just goes straight past him like he's stood Neil Farmack, but Neil will not give up on the inside if he can, but Stevie gets into the corner first and takes the position. So Stevie takes the position in that one. As we go back to the front, is Bradders still in 3rd place? Oh, he's sort of missed the first corner and he's going into the he puts debris all over the track, but he's serving a drive-through penalty that he had from the last race, so it hits the wall there as well because of the wet conditions. But Bradders has a drive-through because he's got to the limit of his penalties on LPB Racing, so he's got to take a drive-through penalty, and that is also the reason why we've not got Andrea, because Andrea has got to the point where he has a 1 race ban because he's accumulated that many penalties because he got a penalty last time out in the 2nd race for the contact with Neil Farmack. So he's got to the point where he's got no more penalties left or drive through, so he's had to serve a 1 race ban. So that's why he's not here, and I think Spapper's sort of not racing in protest, so we'll see what happens there. But again, he's just got to take these penalties on the chin and deal with it as Roral then avoids the puddle at the end of the straight. It's not my fault if you accumulate all these penalties. It's your own fault for accumulating them over time. And be more than fair, it's 6 penalties before you get a race ban, which is quite a it's quite a fair amount. So there's 2 5-second penalties, 2 10s, 2 drive-throughs, and then it's a race ban. So if you can't learn after 6, then it's your own problem, and you've got to serve that 1 race ban. There's massive contact there between Callum and Stacker. I think Callum had made a mistake and Stacker couldn't go anywhere there, so I think just a bit of contact there, but very unlucky for them too. As Stevie then works his way up to try and catch the others. There's Bidzster. Oh, I think Bidzster's had a problem there. He's obviously had a bit of a half spin on the water there, because there's a lot of water on track. Doesn't look like there is, but you can see with how heavy the rain's coming down that they haven't quite got the physics right on Project Cars 2 yet with the rain, because this is supposed to be just normal regular rain, which means there shouldn't be really any sort of build-up of puddles on the track. That's only for if you get a storm. But yeah, obviously this rain is more basically turning into a flood over time, and the cars are having to try and work their way around it. As we've got Stevie then in 5th, still trying to catch up to TY. Bradders has gone backwards. He's made a mistake somewhere. He's back down to 6th place. So Bradders puddles, I think, just the car becoming a bit of a handful on the puddles. Blaney's off from the lead. Blaney's off at, I think that's Club. Enters the Club. So Blaney goes off and Rural takes the lead of the race. First race on Project Cars proper with us. And he takes the lead. So well done to Rural. Showing us all how it's done. As we got a car spun off there in the background. I think that was Callum Stacker. As Bidzster then in the lead then. Bidzster in the lead now. But Rural right up behind him. And Rural gets passed again. So Bidzster then goes back down to 2nd place. So the battle for the lead is on here. As Rural tries to get turned into the first corner. He's on a controller, you can tell with the amount of lock he's got on. Bidzster trying to take his time to get up to speed, just to be careful of the wheel spin. There's TY and Blakeney are quite close together as well. In fact, they're side by side down to the next corner. Blakeney on the inside, TY on the outside, down towards Beckett's. Gone through Maggots, and then there's Beckett's. TY just gets ahead of Blakeney there and gets on the power and runs away, as then Bidzster then on the straight, chasing down Rural. Chasing down Rural, here he goes. And right round the outside of him, trying to go right round the outside, and he's done it. Finds the grip on the outside and runs right round the outside of Rural. Now they're all going to the right hand side to avoid a big puddle on the left, which caught Blakeney out a few laps ago. As TY and Blakeney now. Oh, TY hits the puddle, just so around about it, into the wall, spins round, finds the gear, and gets back on with it. So unlucky there for TY, as Stevie then passes Bradders. And then goes into the same corner, trying to catch him up. Neil Farmack all the way back down in 7th after the first corner calamities. But Bidzster then in the lead, just a lot of water at that last corner, sliding. Rural gets right up behind him and almost alongside, saying, come on, go. So Rural finding lines in the wet that Bidzster can't, as Bidzster's off the road, slides sideways, and off into the catch fencing. So Bidzster goes off, Rural takes the lead again, so the water catching now everyone here. As Blakeney goes around Bidzster as he gets up to speed, TY will close up as well, but Bidzster should be up to speed by then. As Stevie and Bradders are having a nice little battle back here as well. Nice little battle between these two as we look back to Bidzster and TY, and Bidzster's closed up to Blakeney again. But there goes Stevie onto the straight. As we look at Bidzster again, he's right behind Blakeney now. Will he go for a move into the next corner? We'll have to see here. They both move to the right, and then Bidzster will move back out to the left probably. He's going to try the same move that he did on Rural around the outside, and has he done it? Yes, right around the outside, but Blakeney's on the inside again. But no, Bidzster's ahead. But Bidzster goes straight for the puddle, just about avoids it. Oh, close stuff there. As Stevie pulls right away from Bradders there. And that's because Stevie has found a little thing with this car that we all found out after the last race that we did. That if you hold down the little turbo overboost button, if you actually hold the button down, you actually get up to 190 odd mile an hour. None of us knew about this apart from Stevie, and Stevie wasn't in the mood to share, which is, I do think personally, is very unsportsmanlike. But because if we all find stuff out about the car, then we do share it so it benefits everyone, so we're on an equal playing field. But Stevie thought he'd keep it to himself. So I suppose in one way you could look at it and think, well, if someone knows something that someone else doesn't, then that's benefit to them, which is good for yourself. But again, it's not really fair when it comes to the whole group, and we like to help everyone grow in the group and just help everyone out. As Stevie again gets a little bit crossed up there, as Callum recovers after hitting the wall, I think. So Callum having a horrible time in this car. So Stacker, but they're both trying the hardest. But yeah, so Stevie, I suppose you could, like I said, you could say in one way that it does help him, but it doesn't necessarily help everyone else in the group. And we all like to share stuff and help everyone get up to speed. We don't like to hold any secrets, because it just helps everyone learn the cars better and race better. And also it makes for fair racing. So, yep. So Stevie will be kept an eye on from now on. As Bidzster then passes Roral back. So Roral and Bidzster still battling to and fro here. Still to and fro between Roral and Bidzster, but Bidzster gets first place back. So Roral then. And oh, it must is a puddle there that's on the inside and brakes. Now Roral's a lot better around here than Bidzster, because Bidzster then with the wheels really struggling to find grip round here. As Roral then gets right up behind him and says, come on, go. And Roral finds grip that Bidzster can't. And Bidzster goes back down to second place. So Roral then really relishing in these wet conditions. The American doing very well on the British soil. Bidzster wants to try and win the race if he can. But even though he doesn't really need to, because he's champion already, but still, the hunger for race wins is still there. As Blakeney then in a solid third. Brad is back into fourth as he goes to lap Neil Farmack, but I never thought he'd be doing that in his first season with his wheel. But he's definitely got there now, Brad is, and he's doing well. And unfortunately for Callum, he's off the road again. He's really struggling with this car, but hats off to Callum for continuing. So staying on the grass, just trying to find a way back onto the track. There he goes, and finds his way back on track. As Roral and Bidzster then still within 2/10 of each other. Down towards Corb as Roral makes a mistake and Bidzster can't avoid hitting him. Just on the puddle, Aquaplane couldn't stop and Bidzster spins and Roral sort of spins sideways as well. I don't know whether he's waiting for Bidzster or anything, but doesn't really need to, because it was just a mistake. Nothing could have happened there. As Blakeney then goes through, let's have a look. Is Blakeney going to close right up to Roral here? Blakeney behind Roral. We're just over half distance in this race now as we go into the Woodcut chicane. Let's see who's got the best wet line here. Roral goes wide there. Then Blakeney gets on the power there, but watch Roral here. He goes to the right, to the inside, and he goes a bit wider that time though, but still, look at the ground he makes there. Fantastic stuff as Blakeney's lost it. He's off onto the grass and doing donuts, and now he's facing the wrong way as Bidzster comes around the last corner, and now Blakeney's got to reverse off the wall. Bradders, so Project Cars 2, if any of your development team are watching this video, please review your wet weather physics, because they are appalling, to be polite, because this is supposed to be just regular rain. There's not supposed to be any sort of build-up of major puddles on track or flooding, which is what we actually experience when we're actually doing it. But please review your physics for the next game, please, because it is such a shame that we can't run proper wet weather races and actually have some good battles in the wet where we aren't having to worry about the ultimate aquaplaning like it's a flood. So please, I'm begging you, just please review it and try and improve it for the next game, because it would be such a good asset to the game to have proper weather that does actually work, rather than, well, it does work at the minute, but it's just overworking. As Bradders goes off the track there, because you can see everyone having to go left, right, trying to avoid this puddle, that puddle, this puddle, that puddle. In a wet race, that shouldn't need to happen unless it's literally like a massive thunderstorm or, you know, like a torrential monsoon. But yes, anyway, rant over. Back to the action as Bidzster then in second place. Still trying to find a neat line through that chicane, and they're sliding the car everywhere. And Roral just taking it in his stride, just absolutely just taking everything in his stride. As Stevie then passes Bradders, and that'll have been on the extra boost that he's got. So that's the difference between 190 miles an hour and 170 miles an hour, as Bradders unfortunately goes off into the wall there, and recovers nicely. Stevie's got really slow on the water, and Bradders is going to go right round the outside of him here, calm as a bitch, and Bradders goes through. Bidzster then goes through, yep. So if people think I'm having a go at Stevie, I'm not having a go at him. It's just that, as we've said on the page before, if you do bad, or you're found to be doing something that's not right, then you will get roasted for it, and it goes for everyone. I'll even roast myself if needs be. So I'll put myself on a slow cooker and turn myself slowly. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, if anyone does anything like that, they will get roasted and they will get told. So if you can't deal with the consequences, that's your own fault. So Stevie then, with Bradders still behind him, still trying to close up. As we go down the hanger straight into Stowe. Bradders closes up a little bit and goes a bit wider. Stevie gets on the power and avoids the puddle. Bradders is going to hit it square on if he's not careful, and he does. Just about survives, and then he's on more of the water there. Has to slow right down. So Bradders then getting hooked up by the water and not helping the situation. There's Bidzster then trying to catch this man, Roral, who's come up to lap Callum again, I think. So unlucky for Callum, who gets lapped there by Roral, who's 5 seconds in the lead of this race. Bidzster then on the move in second, trying to catch up. And he goes to laps Callum, and there's major contact there. Major contact. I think Callum must have moved across one way as Bidzster went the other, and there's contact, but Callum goes off, and there was apologies made, I can tell you that, and Bidzster carried on, and Callum did carry on, but it was just a miscommunication. Both cars went one way at the same time, just a miscommunication, and everyone survives from there. As Bradders then trying to catch up to Stevie, but Stevie with that extra boost will pull away on the next straight as he goes up to Callum then to pass his to lap his teammate. And there comes Bradders at the last corner. There's Stevie onto the straight. As we go down the end of the straight then, there he goes, and Bidzster still trying to catch up to Roral, but Roral keeping that gap at 6 seconds. He's not making it easy as Bidzster goes through to lap someone there. I think that was Stacker. So he goes through to lap Stacker there as Bidzster goes wide into the chicane. And I think he's learned a bit of a better line this time. Let's see, because he looks a lot cleaner on the entrance and sticks to the inside. And a little bit of a slide there, but then gets going. So trying to catch up to Roral if he can. Look at Roral out in front. So only a handful of laps left in this race now. It's been a good race so far despite the awful weather conditions, and it is drying out a bit now. You can see there's less spray and that it is starting to dry out. As we go down the straight with Roral, there's Stevie in 4th, Bradders in 5th, still trying to catch him. TY back down in 6th place, not doing too bad in this one. Blakeney again has still got about a 7 second to Bidzster as he goes through to lap Stacker there as well. So Stacker and Callum really struggling in this one, but Neil's not that further up the road. He's only at the end of the straight, so Stacker, if he can keep his head down and Neil makes a few mistakes, he could end up with a 7th here. You never know. You'll have to watch to the end. As Bidzster now 3 seconds behind Roral. Oh, he's pushing hard, he's off on the grass. Pushes really hard there, overly pushes I think. And carries on. As Roral goes into the chicane then, slides it sideways as Callum goes across the pit lane because he's just trying to avoid all the puddles and that because he's back down in last place anyway. He's not really causing a hazard as such as Bidzster comes out the last corner then. Patient, and then gets on the power. So the track drying out now. Bidzster starting to close in. Obviously Roral was doing really well when it was fully wet, but now you can see the spray's a lot less now. So the rain has stopped falling here and the track will dry out every lap. As Roral goes through that corner, you can see a lot more speed building there as we'll watch Bidzster through the same corner. Into the apex, yep, a lot faster with the speed now on all the cars here. As Bradders and Stevie still battling it out, as Stevie then is ahead and started trying to stop doing donuts on the start-finish straight as Bradders comes through. Gets on the power, closes up as Neil and Stacker then. Neil and Stacker battling out for position. Stacker's in front of Neil. Neil's back there. He must have lost. He must have spun. So it just shows you not to give up. As Bradders and Stevie close up to this bunch. And see there's Stacker in front. There's Neil Farmack. And Stevie goes off the track. Gets back on. And Bradders loses it as well. So everyone going off there. Stacker's off the road as well, so Neil's back in front. As Bidzster now is 1.3 seconds behind Rural, so he's definitely catching up when it's not in this section. This section Rural will pull away a little bit, but then once he gets onto the dry bits, Bidzster having the pace. 2 laps left of this race now, penultimate lap of the race. As Bidzster goes through turn 1, flat out now, trying to catch up to him. Stevie is still ahead of Bradders, who's just lapped Neil Farmack. Then we've got Neil Farmack in the back here with still battling with Stacker, but Stacker's a bit further back on the track now. Back to Rural. Rural's off the road. Rural's off the road in the lead of the race. And Bidzster's going to come up and pass him now. Yes, he does. Bidzster takes the lead. Rural was leading for such a long time, and he's lost it on that second to last lap. He's got to try and catch up to him now, but his best hope is in the wet section at Woodcote. But Bidzster then in this drying track, really loving the conditions here and trying to catch up as Bradders then tries to stick with Stevie into the first corner, and they've started their penultimate lap of the race. As Bradders struggles for traction out that corner there. So Bidzster then in the lead of the race. 2.3 seconds ahead of Rural now. There's Rural back there as Bidzster slides his way through, approaching the chicane. And Callum stops on the apex, lets him go, and he's going to let Rural go as well. So good driving there. Bidzster's lost it again on the chicane. Again, that water just not being able to find the right line, as Rural's got some kind of secret for that corner. Works every time, closes right up to Bidzster. But now Bidzster gets on the power and the drier part of the track, and is now going to try and pull away on this last lap of the race then. 1 second between the leaders after 20 minutes of racing. This is what racing is all about. Bidzster down to Maggots, through Maggots, the flat out left-hander, into Beckett's. And then into the Vale, or Chapel Vale, whichever one you want to call it, into the hanger straight then. 1.2 seconds ahead of Rural, onto the back straight. Blakeney's still in third. Bradders is now in fourth. Stevie's back in fifth, so they've swapped positions as well as they go into the corner then. Bradders has got quite a good line through there now, so actually gets quite a good run, but goes on the grass. Don't put too much power on. But Stevie's lost it. Stevie's lost it in fifth. So Stevie loses control of the car and loses control again. Obviously still a lot of water down there. But meanwhile, Bidzster, he's got to hold on through these last few corners. This is the bit of the track which bites him. 2.7 seconds to Rural. Just got to survive one last chicane, Bidzster. Into it, oh, it goes wide, goes off the track and just tries to slowly get the power, but Rural's closed it up. Oh, Rural hits the wall. If he didn't hit the wall, he could have got him, but Bidzster wins the race. Well done to Bidzster. He wins the race. Rural in a fantastic second place. It'll be good not to get the win, but still second place is valiant considering the effort. And Blakeney is still in third place, and it's Bradders in fourth, Stevie fifth. TY is in sixth place there. He's still going round. And Callum will finish the race at some point as well. But let's watch Blakeney into the last few corners. Very slowly, making sure he gets to the end. Nicely done. And slowly but surely, snail pace across the line. There's Bradders coming up for fourth place. Stevie coming up for fifth. He's using the overboost that he's found. But Bradders through the last chicane, then it's a lot drier than it was, but still got to be careful. Through the last corner, can get a boot full of power now and get across the line. Fantastic fourth place for Bradders. As Stevie then slides and drifts his way across the line with his teammate who's lapped behind him. Callum in ninth. TY is going to be sixth. Saka is still going around in seventh, but he'll finish anyway in seventh. Neil eighth, and Callum ninth. There's TY across the line. So we'll just get those results confirmed for you now, guys. Here's the results then, guys. So it is Bidzster who takes the win from Rural in second place after a good battle over the course of the race. Then it's Blakeney in third. Bradders gets a fantastic fourth place. Stevie in fifth. Then it's TY in sixth place. And then Stacker in seventh. Eighth for Neil Farmack. And Callum rounds off the 9. So there is your winner in that black Team Lotus car. Bidzster is the winner of that race. Well done to him, and we will see you guys for the last race of the season of round 7 next time. Take care, guys.